There's a reason Grand Turk keeps winning the hearts of cruisers. But there are also a few hidden tricks, a couple of tourist traps, and even a wild donkey or two that you'll want to know about before you step off the ship. And stay tuned, because there's one big Grand Turk warning that can land you with huge fines or even jail time if you're not careful. You'll definitely want to hear that before you go. Hi, I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ship. Today, I'm giving you my ultimate, honest, as always, guide to Grand Turk, one of my favorite Caribbean cruise ports. First, let's talk about why Grand Turk is different. One of the first things that you'll love about Grand Turk, you don't have to deal with those pesky tender boats. I love cruising, but I hate tender ports. Those are those ports where, because of shallow waters or other reasons, the ship has to dock out at sea and they have to use smaller boats to get cruisers to the shore. And it's not a huge deal, but it's just kind of a hassle. It eats up precious time and I just don't like it. But with Grand Turk, there's no tendering here. You get off the ship, there's a nice short pier, you just walk and bam, you're right there in the terminal, and there's beautiful beaches right there as well. Now, one quick note about Grand Turk, it always is windy. Super, super, super windy. So when you step off the ship in Grand Turk onto that pier, make sure you don't have any hats or anything that can fly away. But again, simply walk off the ship, you're down a short pier, you're there. No long waits, no stressful transfers, no tendering, no missing out on precious beach time. But of course, the fact that it's not a tender port, that's not the best part of this cruise port. The best part is this, because once you get off the ship, you walk down that short pier, you're only just about 30 seconds away from one of the best free beach day experiences in the Caribbean. Now let's talk about that free beach day. Here's the deal. Grand Turk is great because you don't have to spend any money. I like to ball on a budget. I'll spend money when I need to, but if I don't have to spend money, I'm gonna save it so I can cruise more often. And Grand Turk gives you a lot of bang for your buck. This is a free beach day. It's not a private island or private area like Half Moon Cay, Princess Cay, Labadee, but it feels like it because you get that free beach day experience. Once you just step off the pier, you're right there in Sunray Beach, and it is beautiful. The sand is nice and clean, the water is fairly clear, but I will tell you, pro tip, it is pretty rocky, especially the area right by the pier as you exit off the terminal. So when I visit Grand Turk, I always bring water socks. I don't like water shoes, I like water socks. I'll drop a link below to my cruise essentials where you'll find my favorite water socks, but also links to water shoes as well. That's a great thing to bring here. Another thing that's great to bring to Grand Turk, your snorkel gear. It blows my mind that people pay to rent snorkel gear at cruise port destinations because oftentimes they will pay more in a rental fee than it would cost to buy a snorkel set. And also, I'm a little OCD and overly hygienic sometimes, but the thought of putting my mouth on a snorkel that lots of other strangers have had in their mouths is just super ick to me. So just buy a set. I'll drop my link below. I spent under 18 bucks on it and it's been all over the world with me, including to Grand Turk. So again, the great thing here, you don't have to pay a dime. You don't have to spend any money. You don't even have to take a taxi anywhere. You don't have to walk far. Everything is right here. The cruise lines have a set of free beach chairs reserved for passengers, and these are going to be marked in green. So if you head off the ship early, you can usually snag one of these with no problem. But here's a word of caution. Grand Turk is known for having what are called chair pirates. These are locals who are trying to make a buck, which I admire the hustle, but don't be shady. But they come to the beach right off the pier and they aggressively try to rent unknowing cruise passengers the free chairs, even though they're free, or they try to steer you toward their paid ones when there are free ones available. So don't be shy about asking directly if the chair is a free cruise line chair or if there are free options. So just be aware, just because a local comes up and talks to you, even if they're charming or charismatic or aggressive, just make sure you're not paying to rent a chair if you don't have to. And again, make sure you bring those water shoes, bring a snorkel set. I love to snorkel, and I will tell you that the snorkeling at the rock area that undergirds the pier is really nice snorkeling. And I think it's kind of fun to snorkel, and then you can see the cruise passengers walking up and down the pier. So that is fun as well. So those are some important things to bring. And again, don't get taken by those vendors. So I want to know, have you ever gotten accidentally hustled before? Have you been to Grand Turk? Were you able to snag a chair? Share your info in the comments. But believe it or not, as perfect as that free beach day is, Grand Turk also has some hidden gems if you're willing to wander just a little bit further. Now, once you get off of the pier, there are a lot of different options. Some of them are right there, some of them are close, some of them are just a short walk. If you get off the cruise ship, you walk down that short pier, you end up at the cruise terminal area. Just about a 5-minute walk over to the left, you will find Jack's Shack. This is a well-loved beach bar that cruisers flock to over and over again. Now, I've been, it's okay. I don't quite get the hype. It's a beach bar, but a lot of people seem to love it. It's a laid-back beach bar, famous for its grilled food, their strong drinks, their beer bucket discounts, and they also have some famous beach dogs who like to visit with the tourists there. It's casual, it's pretty inexpensive, so if you're sick of cruise food and you want some different food, it's a nice option. And it is kind of a quintessential Grand Turk cruise experience. Now, if you're more into pools than ocean and sand, another great option that actually is closer to the cruise terminal than Jack Shack is Margaritaville. It's right there at the cruise center. You literally can't miss it. If nothing else, you're gonna hear it because they're usually playing upbeat Caribbean music, Jimmy Buffett music. It is a lively environment. And part of that lively environment is their massive pool. So they have swim-up bars, there's music playing, there's loungers. Of course, the expectation is you're buying food and drink. Oh, and just for fun, one of my favorite things in the Grand Turk Cruise Terminal is that it is home to the world's only pink Starbucks. It is pink, you can't miss it, like bright flamingo pink. It's adorable, but sad first world problem. Your app won't work there, they don't take it. I actually visited Grand Turk on my birthday last year and I was not able to redeem my free birthday drink. Whamp, whamp. Yeah, I know, problems, right? But I wanna know, what are your favorite things to do in Grand Turk that is accessible by foot? Do you like to hang out at the beach and have a free beach day? Do you like to hang out at Margaritaville? Do you like to just wander around the terminal? Do you like to hang out at Jack Shack? What are your favorite things to do within walking distance of the port? Now, if you really wanna level up your Grand Turk adventure and really see the island, you're gonna want some wheels. Now, it's great to spend the day there at the beach. A lot of cruisers do, but if you really wanna see Grand Turk, you do need transportation. And I'll tell you exactly how to get that and the best option. Grand Turk, it's a small island. It's only about 6 miles from end to end. So this makes an area absolutely perfect for exploring by golf cart. On a recent visit there, I rented a cart. It wasn't the best maintained cart, but it got us around. It didn't break down. It cost about $110 for the entire day. And I was with 2 other adults. And it was really one of my favorite Grand Turk experiences. As I mentioned, I do love the free beach day here. I love the snorkeling, but I wanted to see Grand Turk. So when I say I visited Turks and Caicos, I feel like I've actually visited it, not just hung out at the beach. So we rented the golf cart, we cruised up and down the coast, but no, a lot of these golf carts, they do move slowly, so people will be whizzing past you. And people also drive on the opposite side of the road, so that can be a little bit of adjustment as well. But we went up the coast, we stopped at Governor's Beach. That is a much quieter beach, but again, Grand Turk, at least every time I've been, has been really windy. So the water here was very wavy, very aggressive. So it was beautiful, but it wasn't great to actually get in. We also were able to explore the tiny streets of Cockburn Town, which I thought was really cute and really charming. Lots of cute little shops. And my favorite thing as an animal lover was the wild donkeys. They're just everywhere. I had never seen a wild donkey when I just stayed at the port area, or at the terminal area, but getting out on a golf cart, it's really cool because they're just everywhere. So you can't miss that. And then on the way back, we did make a pit stop at Jack Shack, and that was nice to be able to pop in there as well. And again, our golf cart experience was fun. The golf cart itself was just okay, but it's kind of cheap. But I'll drop the link below if you want to check it out and get pricing. Again, it got us where we needed it to go. So if you're someone who loves the idea of freedom on port days, you want to go where you want, when you want, on your own time, you want to explore more than just the beach, renting a golf cart in Grand Turk is seriously a must. So I want to know, when it comes to port days, do you like to stay close to the terminal or do you like to get out and about? And speaking of beaches that you can reach with your own cart, let me tell you about some of the secret spots that a lot of cruisers completely miss. Of course, you can stay at Sunray Beach. It's right there by the ship. You're gonna have a great day. It's a wonderful beach. A little rocky, but it's wonderful. But if you're willing to venture just a few miles north, you can hit up Governor's Beach. As I mentioned, it was really windy the day of my visit, but the water was unbelievably blue. The sand was perfectly clean and soft, and there were not a lot of people there, hardly anyone at all, aside from my group of 3. It was really quiet, it was really clean, and it was a really great place to kind of spread out a little. And I kind of laid in the sand, and my boyfriend and his brother like jumped in the waves in the water, and we had a lot of fun. Now, if you go even further up the island, you'll hit Pillory Beach, which is also gorgeous. We stopped there as well. Again, it was really windy, so the waves were pretty rough. So just be mindful of that. So if it's a very windy day, you might just want to stay at the terminal area and enjoy Sunray Beach if you want a beach day, because these other beaches just get really, really windy with really aggressive waves. Now, when I write my port guides, I like to include all of the different options to help folks navigate and figure out what they want to do and see. And by the way, I have my link for my free Grand Turk port guide linked down below. You can also find it at my website with lots of other free port guides at profmelissa.com. So I do a lot of research about these. And there's one beach that I hear about a lot, but I wouldn't personally recommend, based especially on the reviews from other cruisers. I love a hidden gem, but this one, it isn't it. And it's called White Sands Beach. It's south of the port. It's hard to access, so it's not like you just roll a golf cart up and you get out and you're there. It's kind of hard to get down and you have to take some wooden steps from what I've read from reviews. I haven't been to this one. And then once you're there, it's usually covered in seaweed. So if White Sands Beach runs across a Beaches of Grand Turk list, from what I've heard, it's not probably the best beach experience. So I recommend sticking with Sunray or Governors or Pillory Beach for a beach day experience. And if it's super windy, I would avoid Pillory and Governors and stick with just Sunray. But I want to hear from you. What are your favorite Grand Turk beaches that people should check out? Another nice thing about cruising to Grand Turk is that the Turks and Caicos uses the US dollar. So there's absolutely no need to exchange money or convert currency, although that's usually the case even in cruise port locations that have a non-US currency. Most of the shops and restaurants here accept major credit cards, but it's always smart to bring a little cash. That's helpful to have for tips, for small purchases like souvenirs or beach chair rentals. Oftentimes, if you have cash, it can up your negotiation power and you can get a better bang for your buck. Now, I always encourage cruisers never, ever, ever use a debit card in a cruise port location. Always use a credit card. You have a lot more protections. I specifically recommend a travel-based credit card where you can get perks and other protections. And I'll drop my favorite one below. It's Capital One VentureX card. All the frequent travelers love it. I love it. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Now, when it comes to time zones, this can be a little tricky at a lot of Caribbean cruise port destinations, but especially so in Grand Turk. Grand Turk operates on EDT or Eastern Daylight Time, but your ship might stay on ship time, which is usually set to your departure port. So it's really important that you always double check your ship time announcements to avoid missing your all aboard time. Now, the great thing about a beach day in Grand Turk is when you're there, you can't miss the ships. They're literally right there in front of your face. So you can actually relax a little bit. You still want to be mindful of time, but you know you're going to see everybody packing up and leaving. You're probably not going to miss the boat in Grand Turk. And now, the most important thing you probably should know about Grand Turk. Before you pack your bags and head out to your cruise, this is a serious warning that you need to hear. Turks and Caicos has extremely strict laws around firearms and ammunition. Even accidentally carrying a single bullet or a spent shell casing, something that you might not even realize is tucked into the corner of a backpack, can land you in jail. In recent years, in fact, several American cruisers were arrested during security checks. So they got off the ship just fine. They were trying to reboard after their day in Grand Turk, and they had stray ammunition that was found in their bags. And these are bags that they had taken to the shooting range, and there's just stray ammunition bopping around in the bag that didn't get flagged earlier, but it got caught in Grand Turk. Some faced up to 12 years of prison before being fined, and it was a pretty hefty fine, and released, and that was only under exceptional circumstances. So the US Embassy went so far as even issuing a travel alert, urging travelers to carefully check all of their luggage before visiting Turks and Caicos, specifically Grand Turk. So if you are into guns, so it's not something I have to worry about because I'm not a gun person, but if you own guns, you go to the shooting range, this is a very simple but very vital step. Double check your pockets, bags, jackets, backpacks, bags, duffel bags before you ever board your flight or ship, especially if you're visiting Turks and Caicos. So I want to know what you think about Grand Turk. It is pretty well loved among cruisers. I haven't heard much hate for Grand Turk. There's not much to hate. It's a pretty awesome port. But I want to know your honest thoughts. What you think, drop that down in the comments. And remember, I have my free Grand Turk port guide also listed down below, along with other planning tools, cruise advice, and more at my website, profmelissa.com. So until next time, happy cruising.